track that bad guy all the way out and down to the ground. Now I know that he's actually no longer a threat. Hook in my thumb, or if I just want to grab the other side and I can pull this straight up, this makes it look like now the action is coming from here in that straight out position. Now I can go ahead and send some love to our bad guy. Again, I do a down scan and clear, making sure that I don't have one of his buddies sneaking up on me. And again, this goes straight back to our holster. I don't have to look down at this. I'm not fighting for it. Hey guys, Tim here with Two Feathers Survival. Something that we need to start discussing with our Urban Survival series is firearms. Now, the thing with firearms is I'm not going to get into a hot, heated debate about what it is that is the best gun, the best manufacturer, anything like that. It comes down to this simple fact. It's the gun in your hand at the time that you need to utilize that firearm. Same thing can be said for the round that's in the gun. It's the one that's in the gun when you need to utilize that firearm at that given time. So that's as far as we're going to go with all that on this channel. I'm not going to debate anything else further than that. What I would like to talk to y'all about is some basic firearm skills. Some of the things that could come up within an urban survival type situation. Keep in mind how many millions of guns are actually out in the United States at this current time. There's plenty of those. We looked at the EMP scenario. With that EMP scenario, they said a timetable to a drastic loss in the population of the United States is about 1 year. In that 1 year timeline, they're showing 90%, let's say 70 to 90% fatalities in the United States of America. So if we look at that and then base that on the amount of rounds, the amount of guns that are actually in the United States, don't forget we're the largest, as a civilian gun holder, the largest military force on the planet. So that should tell you something right there. Really, if you look at shows like, The Walking Dead or any of those type of shows, they are actually always out there trying to find different firearms and trying to find rounds for those. There's a lot of games out there along the same lines. Like The Last of Us, they always have you with a very minimal round count. Well, that's probably not going to be the case. What more would be the case is there'd probably be a plethora of them, and everybody'd probably have multiple firearms on them once we've looked at a larger loss of the civilian population. So that's something that we need to keep in mind. So to add in to all of those type of things, being good with the weapon systems that you have already at home. Don't have to go out and buy anything new. Don't have to go out and get anything high speed, go fast, low drag, anything like that. We actually have to know what it is that we have with our equipment that we already have at home. So when we look at our equipment and our positioning of that type of equipment, we have to consider where it is that we keep that on our body. Most of the times I tell the guys that I work with, don't have your gun so far back that I'm back here breaking the plane of my body to get this firearm out. This is already a weak position, and when I draw from here, I don't have a clear line coming back to the front. If I draw from back here, I'd have to come up, rotate the barrel forward, and then press straight out. So I can minimize that timetable if I just simply move the firearm a bit further on my hip to the front. Now when I come up, I'm already at a fighting platform. I can come straight up to my armpit, rotate that barrel out. This hand that's already come to here in a good defensive posture will start to press out, and my hands then meet at some point here as I draw that firearm out. Gives me a good shooting platform. Also, coming in straight up from here, at any point in this draw sequence, if it's gone to a close quarters battle, meaning that we're both in arm's reach away, I can simply rotate that barrel forward and I can start sending love towards my opponent. If I need to then drop back, I can drop back strong foot, press out, or I can just simply drop back with my weak leg and still be at a position where I can engage that weapon. And I've actually then opened up that reactionary gap, creating more space between me and the bad guy. So those again are things that we need to consider as we're training in these type of environments. From here, if I come up to this position, I've already started to roll out, I can now start to index that weapon. Bang, 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 as I press out. That way I'm already sending him love, the bad guy or bad girl. I'm being equal opportunity bad guy employer here. But those people I can then engage at any given range. So there's a lot of drills that we can base off from that. In my law enforcement job, I've started to kind of get on board with the fact that we as firearms instructors and we as defensive tactics instructors have kind of had a failure to train for a while, because we've always trained at a range similar to something like you see here behind me, where you go to the 25-yard line and you stand up and I press out at a stationary target and I fire X amount of rounds, whatever that course of fire actually entails. If we think about it in the real world though, we're probably not going to be standing still, and the bad guy's probably going to be moving or running away, ducking for cover, diving. There's a wide variety of possibilities. So all of those things we've got to think about as we incorporate in our firearms range training. And those are some of the things that we want to look at today. All right guys, well here's typically the scenario that you're going to be in. I'm about 3 to 5 yards away from my target. From this position here, I've actually got my jacket covering my firearm. I've got my safety equipment on, I've got my eyes and ears already all protected. But from here, I should be able to engage a target. Now, there's a couple easy drills with a concealed carry type of a holster that I have on now. Again, I've moved this up forward of my belt line a little bit, so it's not back here, but it's actually right here. If, again, we look at economy of motion, for me to just come down right here, it's natural. I'm not having to overreach or bring the shoulder back to do that. I'm standing simply from right here. So from a concealed carry position is what I want to do is this hand's going to come down. I can then just, instead of trying to grab this back here like this part of the jacket can just come up and out. I've actually now have a flag up here. From here I can come straight out and press straight out to the target. So from here, this is going to be my shooting platform. From this point as well, I don't even have to worry about closing an eye or anything like that. I can keep both eyes open and I just press straight out and I can fire a volley. Okay? Whenever we've then engaged targets, we want to make sure that we do a situational awareness check. If I've engaged a target and he's dropped down, he probably has a buddy, I want to start a scan sequence for that next shooter, wherever that shooter may be. So those are all things that we need to start incorporating with our training. Again, jacket comes up, I've just hooked it on my thumb, and I can go straight back to the holster. I don't have to sit here and look down and fish for that holster. It's just right here. I've put it into muscle memory. I know where that holster is, and then I can return back to it. So again, from our concealed carry, I can come out. As long as I've got this jacket cleared, doesn't matter how I do it, if I want to use the hook of my thumb, or if I just want to grab the other side and I can pull this straight up, this makes it look like now the action is coming from over here. When it's not, I'm coming straight out of the holster. Notice that the finger is not on the trigger well. That finger needs to stay outside of the trigger well and stay off the trigger until it is that I'm ready to fire it. From here, I can either maintain this or now I can drive this gun straight out. From here, in that straight out position, now I can go ahead and send some love to our bad guy. Again, I do a down scan and clear, making sure that I don't have one of his buddies sneaking up on me. And again, this goes straight back to our holster. I don't have to look down at this. I'm not fighting for that. So those are some drills that you need to think about as you're doing your own firearms training at your home. There's many places that you can go from this drill, and you can make this as quick and as neat of a drill as you want. It just depends on where it is that we're looking to go. As I said, if we're already out, come out of the holster. So all I have to do is roll this to my side, and from this position right here, I can now send some love towards our bad guy. As I've already made one shot, I can then correct that by pushing forward, making another shot off from that position there as well. If I've tracked the bad guy down to the ground and he decides to pop back up, that's why I want to still be here. I still want to watch him. As he's going down to the ground, I track that bad guy all the way out and down to the ground. Now I know that he's actually no longer a threat to me, and I can move on to my next objective, whatever that is. So from here, I need to be immediately ready to send in more rounds. Okay? You see the slide has locked back. This is an automatic pistol. Now I'd want to go into some sort of magazine exchange drill, get back into the fight. And I don't have any rounds in here, so that's why it's not going to lock back. Now I can press back out and I'm ready to go back to that gunfight situation. That's all I got time for today, guys. I hope that you are enjoying the Urban Survival series. I appreciate all the watches and all the views that I'm getting on that Urban Survival series. What we're going to look at for these next few weeks within that series are some different manipulations of firearms. How to do some different types of range drills that we're doing here today at the range, and then how to incorporate that back into home defense in situations where we may have to find ourselves inside a close quarter combat environment that stays within our urban type of a scenario that we're looking at for these 2 months. Again, guys, thanks for watching. Keep your knives sharp, keep your go bags close, keep your pistol magazines topped off and ready to go. Till next time, guys, thank you for watching. This is Tim with Two Feathers Survival. Have a great day.